Why do Christians value children? Well, perhaps because God has instilled this inside of us. But sadly, not every society has valued children as the precious gifts that they are. And so to answer this question, we will look at how Jesus valued children. A story taken from Matthew chapter 18. Now Jesus has just told his disciples that he is going into Jerusalem to die. And his disciples ask him, who is going to be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Now for Christians who have grown up hearing about God's kingdom and the values that are found within this kingdom, this sounds like a ridiculous question. But we must remember that we have 2,000 years of perspective of teaching on this. What Jesus was instituting, or rather revealing, was a kingdom that was unlike any kingdom that had ever been before. In response, Jesus tells his disciples several things. He tells them that unless you change and become like little children, you cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. And then Jesus tells them, whoever takes the position of this little child will be greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Now this is the opposite of what the world says. The world says, take the highest position for yourself, grab the corner office. That being great is about having power, authority over others, or having people be afraid of you. Jesus says that when we give up our obsession with position and power, we will find our place and become great. Tony Malden was a legendary basketball coach, having won multiple championships at both the high school and the collegiate level. Tony Malden was coaching at Abilene Christian University when some people came to the school and told him that there were some kids in Kenya that were trying to play basketball, but they had no shoes. And so Tony and some of his friends and contacts gathered up a bunch of basketball shoes and had them shipped over to Kenya to help out these kids. But then Tony actually went to Kenya and he saw the desperate need that children there had for food, clothing, shelter, education, and most importantly, love. And so he began a Christian school for the children to come and to receive education. Education comes with a cost in Kenya, and many children cannot afford to go. And so this education provides them a pathway to a better life. And Tony and his team began a Saturday program where more than 1,000 children come together each Saturday to learn about God, to sing songs, to engage in a dance competition. And each of them receives a free meal, many hugs and smiles, and hope for their lives. This ministry is called Change a Life. And indeed, the lives of these children are being changed dramatically. And this program not only helps those aged 3 through 12 with basic needs and some initial instruction about God, there's a group of teenagers that comes together each Saturday as well to learn more in depth about God and His Word and to study the redemption story. And all of this is being done because of Jesus Christ, because of the love and the value that He showed to children. And Tony has built up an incredible team of local leaders that lead these discussions and lead these studies. This legendary coach, who is surely used to having the spotlight, has relegated his own role to checking the kids in as they come in, showing them love, and sharing with them God's story. Our hearts are drawn to children. We know how precious they are. And Jesus valued children. In fact, when His disciples tried to dismiss the children who were coming to see Him, Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me." Welcoming, feeding, clothing children, sharing Christ with them, this is a godly thing. In fact, Christ said, "Whoever welcomes a little child welcomes Him." And Jesus says, be careful not to despise these little ones. The world may look down upon street children or children that are poor, abandoned, or abused. But God and Christ loves them dearly. And so should we. In fact, Jesus applies the parable of the lost sheep to children, saying that if a shepherd lost a little one, a sheep, would he not leave the 99 and go and search for that one lost sheep, that one lost child, and when he came back, be filled with rejoicing more for that one who had been lost and was found than the 99 who had never been lost. But as important as children are, and as valuable as they are, what Jesus is really using these children to illustrate is the importance of not harming and not looking down upon those who have humbled themselves like little children, who have purposely taken low positions so that they might serve God and serve others. The world might say that giving up a championship career to minister to children on the streets of Nairobi is a waste of time and talent. The world might be tempted to despise this decision and look down on it. But it may be that even the world might take note. ESPN, when Tony Malden retired, not only wrote an article about his championship career, but also included in that article about his ministry to children in Nairobi, and said that this was his true passion and what he would be devoting his life towards. Yes, the world may or may not respect the decision to take the lowest position and to be a servant. But Jesus says, this is the pathway to the kingdom of heaven. So now, how about you? What do you think about this story of Jesus and the little children? How should we value and treat children today? And what do you think about Jesus' call to his disciples to take the lowest position in order to become great in his kingdom? And who do you think that God is calling you to bless and serve?